I never thought a single phone call could break a person. But that night, as I held my hospital file in one hand and my ringing phone in the other, I felt something inside me crack in a way I couldn't explain. My surgery was less than 24 hours away. A surgery I had been terrified of. A surgery I had prepared for emotionally, mentally, and financially. A surgery where I needed support more than anything. But instead of comfort, instead of strength, instead of love, I got a sentence that still echoes in my memory like a nightmare. We can't take care of the twins. We have plans, and honestly, you're becoming a burden. Burden. That word landed on my chest like a weight I couldn't breathe under. And as the call disconnected, I didn't know that this moment, this breaking point, would become the beginning of everything. The betrayal, the truth, the revenge, the justice. This is how I shut down the very people who created me. My name is Amina. I'm 27, a single mother of 2 beautiful twins, Zara and Zayn. They're 6 years old, full of questions, full of energy, and full of a love that keeps me alive even on days when the world feels impossibly heavy. Their father left before they were even born, so it was just me. And for a long time, it was also my parents. Or at least, I thought it was. Growing up, my parents weren't exactly warm. They were strict, distant, emotionally unavailable, the kind of people who believed showing affection made them look weak. But when the twins were born, I hoped becoming grandparents would soften them. For some time, it seemed like it did. They helped babysit sometimes. They visited occasionally. They asked about Zara and Zayn's school. But the warmth never felt real. It felt like obligation, a favor, a task. Still, I told myself, they're my parents. They love me. They love the twins. I was wrong. So wrong. 3 months before the betrayal, I was diagnosed with a rare but treatable medical issue. The doctor said, "It's nothing life-threatening, but we need to operate soon." I nodded, pretending to be calm, but inside I was terrified, not of the surgery, not of the hospital, not of pain, but of something far worse. Who will take care of my twins while I'm gone? My parents were the obvious choice. They lived 20 minutes away. The twins knew them, and I believed, foolishly, that parents always show up when it truly matters. So, one evening, I visited them after the doctor confirmed the surgery date. I expected questions, concern, maybe even a hug. What I got was a different kind of response, a response that should have warned me about what was coming. My parents were sitting on the sofa when I told them. I kept my voice steady. "I have to undergo surgery in a few weeks. It's not dangerous, but I will need some rest. Can you take care of Zara and Zayn for a few days?" Their reaction was a shrug, not shock, not worry, not support, just a shrug. My mother looked annoyed. "How long?" "Maybe a week," I said. "The doctor said recovery should..." Before I could finish, my father interrupted. "You should have thought about this before choosing to raise kids alone." I froze. The twins sat beside me, colouring on the floor, unaware of the storm brewing around them. I tried to keep my voice calm. "It's just a few days. I'll arrange everything." My mother sighed loudly. "Amina, you know we have our own life. We're not young anymore." My father crossed his arms. "We'll see. Not yes, not no. Just, we'll see," like they were deciding whether they felt like helping me or not. I should have taken the hint. I should have asked someone else. I should have prepared for the worst, but I didn't, because even after everything, I still wanted to believe my parents wouldn't abandon me. As the surgery date got closer, my stress grew. At night, when the kids slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling with tears I refused to let fall. What if something happened during surgery? What if the twins cried for me? What if my parents didn't show up? I pushed the thoughts away. This is just anxiety, I told myself. But the universe, it always gives signs. You just need to be willing to see them, and I wasn't, not yet. It was 8:42 p.m. The twins were finishing dinner. I was packing their clothes, labeling their medicine, organising their school stuff. My phone rang. Mum, I took a deep breath and answered. Hello? Her voice was cold. Amina, your father and I won't be taking the twins tomorrow. My heart dropped. I forced myself to speak. What, Mum? The surgery is tomorrow morning. Yes, well, something came up, she said carelessly. What came up? I asked, my voice cracking. A concert. I blinked. What? A concert, she repeated, as if she was telling me she had a dentist appointment. We bought the tickets months ago. We're not cancelling. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mum, this is my surgery. I need you. I thought she cut me off. We're tired, Amina. We've done enough. You always come to us when you need something. You're becoming a burden. Burden. That word hit me harder than anything ever had. My knees went weak. I sat on the edge of the bed, struggling to breathe. I'm your daughter, I whispered, and these are your grandchildren. Well, we didn't ask for this setup, she snapped. You decided to raise them alone. Deal with it. Then she hung up. No goodbye, no sympathy, nothing. Just silence and the echo of betrayal. I sat in my room with the phone still in my hand. For 5 minutes, I didn't move. I didn't speak. I didn't cry. Then, it all hit me at once. Tears spilled, hands shook. My heart felt like it was tearing apart. The twins ran into the room when they heard me sobbing. Ami, are you hurt? Zayn asked. Gently touching my arm, Zara climbed onto my lap. Don't cry, we're here. Their small arms wrapped around me, and in that moment something shifted inside me. A fire, a decision, a promise. If my parents didn't value me, if they didn't respect me, if they didn't love me, then I would build a life where their absence meant nothing, where their betrayal became my strength, where their selfishness fueled my revenge. A revenge rooted not in harm, but in rebuilding myself, in shutting them out, in exposing their truth, in rising above everything they tried to break. That night, I wiped my tears, and everything changed. I didn't expect anyone to show up for me, but when I called my friend Mariam, someone my parents always looked down on, she didn't even let me finish explaining. I'm coming right now, as she said. Pack the kids' bags. They're staying with me for as long as you need. I broke into tears again, but this time, tears of relief. She arrived within 20 minutes, hugged me tight, and looked me straight in the eyes. You're not a burden. You're a warrior, and you're going to come out of this stronger than ever. She didn't know it, but those words became fuel for what I would do later. The morning of the surgery, the world felt strangely quiet. The sky outside my window was pale, soft, almost peaceful, nothing like the storm inside my chest. Mariam helped get the twins ready. Zara tied her shoelaces slowly, looking up at me every few seconds. Zayn held my hand tightly, refusing to let go. "Ami, will it hurt?" he whispered. I kneeled and kissed his forehead. "It'll be okay. Ami just needs a little rest." I wanted to look strong, I wanted to smile, but inside I was terrified, not because of the surgery, but because of the truth that had finally settled. I was on my own, completely, fully, entirely. My parents didn't even call. Not one message, not one good luck, not even a fake concern. They were busy preparing for their concert, the one they prioritized over me, the one they chose over their own daughter's health. As I walked into the hospital, I made a silent promise. When this is over, everything will change. I will never beg them again, not for help, not for love, not for anything. The nurse adjusted the IV while I lay on the hospital bed. Machines beeped softly. The room smelled of disinfectant and cold metal. "Is someone here with you?" she asked kindly. I forced a small smile. "My friend is bringing my kids later. I'm okay." But I wasn't, because in that moment, when she pulled the blanket up and told me to relax, I realized something painful. I had been raised to believe family was everything. But mine had left me alone in a hospital room for a concert, a cheap ticket, loud music, a night out. That was more important than me. The betrayal kept echoing in my head until the anesthesia took over and the world faded. When I opened my eyes after surgery, everything felt blurry. The ceiling spun, my throat was dry, my body was heavy. A nurse walked in and smiled. "Welcome back." "Are my kids here?" I whispered. "They're on the way." I nodded, relieved. But deep down, I was hoping for one more thing. Even though I hated myself for it, even though I told myself not to, a small, stupid part of me hoped my parents had shown up. I checked my phone. No missed calls, no messages, nothing, just silence. Silence colder than any winter I've ever felt. When Zara and Zayn walked into the room with Mariam, the entire hospital ward seemed to brighten. Zara held a card she made from crayons. It said, "Get well soon, Ami. We love you." I kissed it, tears forming again. Mariam placed a hand on my shoulder. "Don't worry about anything, I'm here." She stayed for hours, feeding me soup, adjusting my pillow, comforting the kids. She was everything my parents pretended to be, but never were. That night, while Mariam took the kids home, Zara suddenly stopped near the door and asked, "Ami, where are Nana and Nani?" My heart tightened. Zayn chimed in, "Yeah, don't they love you?" The question sliced through me. Because how do you explain to children that love isn't always love? That some people choose selfishness? That some hearts are colder than you think? I took a deep breath. "They're busy," I said softly. "But we're okay. We have each other." Zara nodded, though she didn't look convinced. Zayn hugged me again. "We're enough, Ami. We're your team." And in that small, innocent moment, I felt more loved than my parents had ever made me feel in my entire life. 3 days later, I was discharged from the hospital. Mariam picked me up with the twins. She held my arm as I walked slowly to the car. "You're healing fast," she said. "I have to," I replied. "I don't have anyone to fall back on." She squeezed my hand. "You have me," When we reached my apartment, 2 bags were hanging on the doorknob. Gifts, food, a welcome home surprise? No, it was Zara and Zane's overnight bags. My parents had dropped them off, without calling, without checking on me, without even ringing the bell. Just left them there like someone drops off dry cleaning. A note was taped on one of the bags. It read, "We picked these up from your house since you didn't need them. Don't expect us to babysit again." My hand shook as I held the note. Mariam grabbed it from me, furious. "Are they serious?" I nodded slowly. This is who they are. And in that moment, I knew something. This wasn't just selfishness. This wasn't just neglect. This was betrayal carved deep into my life, and I would not let it define me anymore. That night, as I was resting on the sofa, I didn't realize the kids were awake. Mariam was in the kitchen, whispering angrily, "I cannot believe her parents. They left her during surgery. Who does that?" I tried to signal her to stop, but it was too late. The twins were standing behind me, their eyes wide, their faces confused, their little hearts crushed. Zara spoke first. "Nana and Nani left you, for real?" I froze. Zane's voice trembled. "Why don't they like us?" Something inside me broke. I gently pulled them close. "No, sweetheart, this is not your fault. Not even a little." "But why would they hurt you?" Zara asked quietly. My throat tightened, because the truth was ugly, but they deserved something honest. "Some people care only when it's easy," I said softly. "But real family shows up when it's hard." Zane wiped his eyes. "We'll always show up for you, Ami." And hearing that healed a part of me I didn't know was wounded. A week later, something happened that became the spark for everything that followed. My parents posted pictures on Facebook, smiling, dancing, enjoying their concert night, the same night I was in surgery. My stomach twisted as I scrolled. Each picture felt like a slap. And then I saw the caption, "Finally living our life. No more unnecessary responsibilities." Unnecessary responsibilities. They meant me. They meant my twins. They meant everything we had ever needed. My hands shook as I read the comments. People praised them. "You both deserve happiness." Parents should enjoy their life too. They had painted themselves as victims, as martyrs, as heroes who had sacrificed too much. I felt anger rising, slow, steady, burning. But then I saw something that stopped me cold. A comment from my cousin. "Didn't Amina have surgery that night?" My mother replied, "Oh, that's exaggerated. She always creates drama for attention." My breath caught. Drama. Attention. My whole world turned upside down that night. And that's when I knew. They had not only abandoned me, they were rewriting the story, twisting the truth, making me look ungrateful. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. This was war. I sat on my bed that night, scrolling through the comments again and again. Mariam stood beside me. "Amina, please don't let them get to you." But I looked up at her with a calmness that even surprised me. "Oh, they already have," I whispered. "But this time I won't cry, I won't beg, I won't break." "What will you do?" Mariam asked cautiously. I smiled faintly. "I'll let the truth speak. I'll let their actions expose them. I'll show them what real strength looks like, not through shouting, but through rising. This revenge wouldn't be loud, it wouldn't be messy, it wouldn't be violent, it would be poetic, strategic, and unforgettable. Because sometimes the best revenge is letting people choke on the truth they tried to bury. In the days that followed, I moved slowly because of my surgery, but my mind moved fast. Every moment, every breath, every heartbeat felt like fuel for something bigger. This wasn't just about pain anymore. This was about reclaiming my dignity, my voice, my story. For years, my parents had painted me as irresponsible, as dramatic, as weak, as someone who couldn't handle life, and I had let them. But not anymore, because betrayal doesn't just break you, it wakes you up. And I was awake now, fully, dangerously. Before planning anything else, I had to protect Zara and Zayn. My parents were unpredictable, cold at best, cruel at worst. I didn't want my children growing up thinking they were unwanted or unloved. So I made a decision. I stopped calling, stopped updating them, stopped waiting for their approval. For the first time ever, I felt peaceful, like I had been dragging chains my whole life and suddenly set them down. But peace wasn't the only thing growing inside me. A plan was taking shape, slowly, quietly, beautifully. One afternoon, maybe 3 weeks after my surgery, someone knocked on my door. I opened it slowly. My parents were standing there. My mother's arms crossed, looking annoyed. My father standing stiff like he didn't want to be there, not worried, not apologetic, just bothered. "What do you want?" I asked sharply. My mother lifted her chin. "Why haven't you brought the twins over? They haven't visited in weeks." I stared at her, stunned. She hadn't visited me, hadn't called me, hadn't cared if I lived or died. But she wanted the twins for her image, to play the part of the loving grandparents. I forced a polite tone. I needed time to recover. My father scoffed. "From what? You look fine." Something inside me snapped quietly, like a thread finally breaking. But instead of yelling, I stepped aside and let silence fill the hallway. "Why are you really here?" I asked. My mother sighed dramatically. "There's a family gathering next month. Your cousins will be there. Bring the kids. People ask about you." Ah, there it was. Not love, not concern, not guilt. Image, reputation, appearances. I smiled slowly, the kind of smile they'd never seen from me before. "I'll think about it," I said. But in my heart, I already knew the answer, and it would become part of my revenge. A week later, my cousin Sarah called. "Amina, I don't know how to say this, but I think you should know." "Know what?" I asked. She hesitated. "Your parents are telling everyone you exaggerated your surgery, that you guilt-trip them, that you always act like a victim." I closed my eyes. Of course they would. "Anything else?" I asked, keeping my voice calm. Sarah continued. "They even said you abandoned them, that you don't let them see the twins anymore." I let out a slow breath. There it was, their favourite game. Play the victim, rewrite the narrative, make me look like the villain. But this time, they weren't prepared for what would come next. That night, while scrolling through social media, I saw my parents had posted something new. A picture of them with friends at a dinner party, with a caption, "Kids grow up and forget their parents, But life teaches you who truly cares. And the comments. I'm so sorry you're going through this. You two deserve better. It's sad when children abandon their parents. I felt anger rise, slow, heavy, fierce. Not because they lied, but because they were proud of their lies. That was the moment I decided. I won't confront them. I won't argue. I won't explain myself. I would let the truth speak for me. But in a way, they couldn't escape. Revenge doesn't start with noise, it starts with preparation. So, I gathered everything. Screenshots of the Facebook posts, the note they taped to the kids' bags, call logs showing they never called, text messages where they refused to help, the exact messages where they said I was a burden, the photos of their concert posted on the night of my surgery, the comments where they downplayed my surgery. Each piece was a brick in the wall I was building, not to attack them, but to protect myself, because people like my parents thrived in shadows, in silence, in unchecked stories, and I was about to shine a light so bright they would have nowhere to hide. No, I wasn't planning to blast it online. I didn't need drama. What I wanted was control, so I wrote a message, long, calm, honest, not emotional, not angry, just the truth. I wrote how they abandoned me before surgery, how they refused the twins, how they called me a burden, how they lied to everyone, how I didn't keep the kids away. They chose to walk away. I didn't send it yet, because revenge isn't just about exposing the truth. It's about timing, and the perfect moment was coming sooner than I expected. The gathering my parents insisted on attending, it became the perfect stage. My cousins, uncles and aunts were all there, everyone dressed up, everyone smiling politely. My parents walked in first, proud, confident, ready to soak up admiration. I arrived 20 minutes later with my twins. The room fell silent. People whispered. Some stared. Some looked confused. My parents turned, shocked. My mother forced a smile. "Oh, you came," my father added. "We didn't think you would," I smiled. "Why not?" I said it loud enough for half the room to hear. They froze. This was it. The moment everything would shift. People approached asking basic questions. "How are you feeling after surgery?" "So glad you're better." My parents stood behind me, stiff, uncomfortable, trying to control the narrative. Then someone, my Aunt Farah, asked loudly, "Your parents said your surgery wasn't serious, that you exaggerated." The room went silent. My mother's face drained. My father stiffened. I could have exploded. I could have shouted. I could have thrown every receipt in their face. But instead, I chose calm, the kind of calm that terrifies people. I reached into my bag, pulled out the printed note, and handed it to my aunt. "This is what they left on my door the day they refused to take the twins," I said softly. Everyone read it. Whispers spread, eyes widened, brows furrowed. My parents panicked. "Why would you bring that?" my mother hissed. "Because you said I abandoned you," I replied. "I just wanted everyone to see the truth." My voice was steady, controlled, sharp as ice. My parents stared at me, speechless, something they never expected, because I wasn't the weak daughter anymore. I wasn't the apologizing daughter. I wasn't the begging daughter. I was the woman they created and underestimated In front of everyone, their perfect image cracked. My mother's lips trembled. "You're trying to embarrass us." I looked her straight in the eyes. "No, I'm trying to free myself." My father whispered harshly, "We are your parents. Show respect." I responded calmly. Respect isn't automatic. It's earned. You lost it the day you turned your backs on me. A stunned silence filled the room. Everyone watched, everyone listened, everyone saw their real faces for the first time. Small, selfish, insecure, and completely exposed. My parents left the gathering early, humiliated, angry, defeated, but I didn't feel victorious. I felt free, like I finally stopped pretending, like I finally stopped shrinking, like I finally stopped waiting for love that was never going to come. My twins held my hands as we walked out. "Ami, are you okay?" Zara asked. I smiled. A lot better than before. Because the truth was out, my voice was back, and my parents' control over me, gone. But this wasn't the end. The real climax was coming.